there from his playing partner, Ben Arn. These greens, these guys are expecting for the greens to be soft. This one looks like it's going to land just a little bit short. Look at the size of that skip. As it comes to rest, just past the pin high left.
So Richard will have a look at birdie as we head over to the par 5 second shot for Andrew Putnam. So that will be a little short and left there. Now BrandtSnedeker.
He too going with a 3-wood from 278. Again, this whole location in the very front portion of the green. Very narrow gap between the two sandy areas that protect the front of the green, and perhaps just a little bit too much for him to cover 278 up the hill.
So they will have thirds back at the seconds as we head back to the first. And after going long with his second shot, Ben Arn's third here.
Yeah, very difficult, Cardi, to judge the first bounce. You can see they got a little wet skid. And that one is actually a pretty good shot there from Ben Arn.
Very good. So he'll have a little bit of work left for his par. And 68 players made the cut. Cut was at +1. See Ben Arn at +3. And Will Gordon and Tommy Fleetwood at 950 as we watch the birdie attempt for Richard S. Johnson at the first. So he will make as far as we head back to the tee bunks. Michael Naismith off the tee first. Played his college golf at the University of South Carolina.
Also going with the driver.
There's that chase you're talking about, Daniel.
Yeah, they certainly are. Having that ball still roll out.
Maybe not a lot of talking between these Tigers and the Gamecocks out on the golf course today, with Jonathan Byrd playing at Clemson, but all these players pretty friendly with one another.
Jay Byrd, as people call him, similar to Richard Johnson, extremely fit, works out, probably more than hits golf balls.
Maybe no win better in Jonathan Byrd's career than the walk-off hole-in-one at the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open out in Las Vegas. Second, third shot for BrandtSnedeker.
Where you're seeing some of these balls reacting, skipping forward, and then holding its spin because of the moisture on the greens.
And you mentioned that hole location, in some ways tucked over in the left-hand side. There's that sandy area just short of the green. Now Andrew Putnam also going upstairs. And I haven't seen much of that this week. Players getting that much spin from that short of a distance. Well, it's without a win this season. It's been a couple of seasons for Xander as Andrew Putnam has a putt for birdie at the second.
You may perhaps, just with a little bit of moisture that this golf course has had, see that grain becoming just a little bit more prevalent, stickier. So we might see some putts have a little bit more break on them today.
So far through 3 rounds, the second hole is played as the easiest hole on the golf course. Same thing, different day for BrandtSnedeker.
Absolutely. He had an absolute nightmare closing out his round yesterday. Could not get a putt to fall. Obviously, you have to set mini goals. And for them, probably, let's see if I can get back to even par. You know, and even though that might still be just in the 40th, 45th position, it's something. You've got to keep your interest levels up.
We'll continue that conversation in a minute as we head back to the first. Second shot for Jonathan Bird. Colin Swatton there to call these.
Well, Jay Bird's got himself 116 yards to the flagstick here at the opening hole. Off a little bit of a downslope. Jay Bird known as one of the low ball hitters. You better be careful. This green has been bouncy already this morning. A lot of these players getting a little bit confused, thinking that maybe that overnight rain would have made it a little softer. And that one lands short, skips to the back, a little bit of raz. He'll have that for his birdie.
And that one had about 2 or 3 bounces on it there. Dana, as we head over to the left side of the fairway at the first, and Michael Neesmith, his second shot.
He chose to push this one a little bit further down, which I think is a great play. Now just 87 yards to this pin location. I think they'd be honestly trying to land this around about 80. One hop it to the pin and then stop. Oh, and he has laid the sod over this one. That one's going to struggle to get in the bunker. Or should I say sandy area.
Yeah, I believe it.
We'll have a similar type of wedge shot here, and again, have to control that first bounce. This launch is very high, will land softer, you'd imagine, which it will do when it lands in sand.
But fortunately for Richard, that came out of its mark there. You were talking earlier about players setting goals. How would you approach this? Third shot for Michael Neesmith.
Yeah, always difficult, Carney, off a downhill slope to try and hit a lofted club softly and high. As was the case. Caught it heavy. Now in the front sandy area. Now making a bit of a mess of it here at the opening hole.
Particularly after that.
I was surprised too, Carney, and I've got to put my caddy hat on here.
Several occasions.
Yeah, it's another tool, you know, like a yardage book, anything else. I mean, it's out there for you, so why wouldn't you use it? As we watch Michael Neesmith now for a par save here at the first, Colin.
Yeah, and a lengthy par save at that for Neesmith at the opening hole. I must admit, when PGA Tour Live first started, I did spend a lot of time watching that before going out. You can learn so much about the golf course, what's going on. As you said, some really good information, both for the player and caddy.
And we will head over to the third shot for Ben On. You know, Jonathan Bird.
He would have got a bit of a look there from Neesmith. Knows what this putt's going to do. And no surprise, took advantage of it. A little assist there from Neesmith.
Yeah.
Watching some early morning golf as Richard Johnson gets ready to play his 4th shot out of the sandy area.
You know, to the first tee, Mark Hubbard on the tee. Mark Hubbard playing along with Roger Sloan, who's already teed off. Now Now back to the second. Lengthy par save for Richard S. Johnson.
Now you see him as one of the older veterans on tour, employing a modified grip, a pencil kind of saw grip with his bottom hand, and that'll be a disappointment too. Comfortably outside the top 125 in the FedEx Cup rankings, which is a bit of a surprise. Such a great player, former President's Cupper.
So on converts the birdie, and looking for a positive final round. Chesson Hadley leads the way. Feature group coverage here on PGA Tour Live will continue in a few moments.